nation when it's got borders and a government, all right? Well, when did that happen? That happened on May the 14th, 1948. The Ben-Gurion government declared the independent state of Israel on May the 14th, 1948. So that's part two. So there's two parts to the budding of the fig tree, all right? And now we're going to look at part three, all right? Part three is when summer would be nigh. Now, right in the center there, you can see a lovely picture taken, I believe, in Israel. All right? Summer, what does summer speak of? Relaxation. A relaxation. That's what summer speaks of. The budding of the fig tree speaks of relaxation. Summer is nigh. Well, in the context of Israel, which is surrounded by warring states, let's put it that way, the rebirth of Israel is a period of relaxation, and that refers to the millennium. All right? We talked about the millennium. And it says the government of Jesus, the government will be upon whose shoulders? Jesus' shoulders, all right? It'll be a period of rest, all right? The first real period of rest for the whole of the world since the fall in Genesis chapter 3. And during the millennium, earth is a complete peace, all right? Now we're going to look at the important, very important part 4 of the parable of the fig tree. This generation shall not pass before all these things are fulfilled. All right. Now, Jesus is here saying that the second coming and the start of the millennium will happen within one generation of the rebirth of Israel. There's my wife. She was born in 1948, and Jesus is saying within her lifetime, Jesus Christ would come back. But it says in Psalm 90, the length of our days is how long? 70 years, or 80 if we have the strength. 70 years. So my wife was born in 1948, and she's, I believe, going to see everything in Matthew 24, Luke 21, Mark 13, and the book of Revelation up to the second coming and the start of the millennium. Now, the Jews were in Babylon how long? 70 years. 70 years. Now, I would like to point out that in our Gregorian calendar, 1947-48, November 1947 and May 1948 are in different years, but in the Jewish calendar, they're in the same year. Because in the Jewish calendar, the New Year starts in Rosh Hashanah, which is in September. So we're talking about 70 years from the rebirth of Israel to the second coming. I believe that Jesus will come back within 70 years of 1948. All right? Just looking carefully at the time here. Okay, we've got 70 years, and it's very important. And what's really important is the time scale, the generation that would not pass before all these things take place. All right? The number 7 is very important in the Bible. Now, actually, in my other study, which is The Bible is Supernatural, we talk a great deal about Ivan Panin, who is a Russian mathematician who actually was awarded the Nobel Prize for Mathematics in 1941, and he used the number 7 to prove that the Bible is supernatural. All right? We're just going to look at 2 passages now. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. There's the original Hebrew. And there are actually 7 words. There's that number 7 again. Reshith, Boror, Elohim, Aith, Shomayim, Aith, Eretz. 7 words. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, the Hebrew language doesn't have numbers like English. They don't have the numbers. For example, Aleph means 1. That's the first letter in the alphabet, all right? The first letter in the alphabet. So in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. There they are, okay? Those words in the Hebrew sentence consist of exactly 7 words, 4 sevens, which have exactly 4 sevens, 28 letters. There are 3 nouns, God, heaven, and earth. And this is really interesting. If we add together the numeric value of each of the letters of these 3 Hebrew nouns, we get exactly 777. That's totally supernatural, isn't it? 777. The numerical value of the Hebrew word created is 29 sevens. The first 3 words contain exactly 2 times 7 letters. The 4 remaining words contain exactly 2 times 7 letters. The Hebrew word for heaven and earth have 7 letters each. The value of the first and the 2 middle and the last letters in the sentence is 19 sevens. The total value of the first and last letter of every word in this verse is 199 sevens. The value of the first and last letter of the first and last word in this verse is 71 sevens. The value of the first and last letter of each word in between is 128 sevens. In this single verse, there are 30 different options containing the factor 7. 7. So we know that the Bible is supernatural, and in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. But what I wanted to do was to bring to your attention the number 7. The miracles and parables of Jesus in the Gospels was 70. The number of miracles in John's Gospel was 7. The number of people raised from the dead was 7. The pieces of furniture in the tabernacle were 7. The number of Jewish feasts are 7. The articles in the tabernacle were 7. 7 letters to 7 churches in Revelation. 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 bowls in Revelation. Jesus appointed 70 disciples. The ministry of John the Baptist and Jesus together was for 7 years. The tribulation lasts for 7 years, and God's dealing with man is for 7,000 years. The word created is used 7 times in Genesis chapters 1, 2 and 3. There are 7 notes in music, 7 days in the week, 7 colours in the rainbow. Noah took the clean animals into the ark by 7s. The flood came after Noah and waited for how long? For 7 days. Before Aaron and his sons entered their priestly work, they were consecrated for 7 days. There are 77 generations from Adam to Jesus Christ. On the Day of Atonement, the high priest sprinkled the blood on the mercy seat. How many times? 7. When Israel took the city of Jericho, God told them to march around the city. How many times? 7 times. There were 7 branches on the candlestick and the holy place in the tabernacle. Solomon was 7 years in the building of the temple and kept the feast for 7 days. Job had 7 sons, and when his friends came to visit him, they sat for 7 days and 7 nights in silence, and after they were required to offer a burnt offering of 7 bullocks and 7 rams. Naaman washed 7 times in the Jordan. Jesus spoke 7 words on the cross. 7 men of honest report were chosen to administer the alms of the church in Acts chapter 6. There were 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine in Egypt. Jesus said, forgive 70 times 7. There are 7 bones in the neck, 7 bones in the face, 7 bones in the ankle, and in the skull. The length of our days is 70 years. The Jews were in Babylon for 70 years. I'm sorry, I've gone on about 7. I want you to get the message that 7 is important. Have you got the message that 7 is important? That's why I believe that Jesus will return not after 60 years or 80 years. Guess how many years? 70. Got it? I think Jesus is going to return after 70 years. All right? Let's go back to the screen now. I believe that Jesus is going to come back after 70 years. Now, we are now living in a world Babylon. The whole place is a moral sewer. All right? And I believe that Jesus will be back after 70 years from the rebirth of Israel. And we're going to look again at the pattern of 7,070 and 7s concerning God's dealing with man. All right? You've seen that slide already. 7,000 years of God's dealing with man. The last millennium is 1,000 years. And Daniel 9:24, I haven't got time to go into Daniel's 70 weeks, but it starts off like this. 70 weeks are determined for your people and your holy city. That's the Jews and Jerusalem. All right? How many weeks? 60 weeks? 80 weeks? No, 70 weeks. 70. General timescale of the last generation is 70 years, and the tribulation lasts for 7 years. The ministry of John the Baptist and Jesus lasted together for 7 years. The fat years and the 7 lean years were prophesied by Joseph, all right? And the 7 fat years were when Jesus and John the Baptist and Jesus together, they ministered 3.5 years each. Those are the fat years. And the lean years are the 7 years of the tribulation. You see, the Jews rejected John the Baptist and also rejected Jesus. Those were good years, but the Jews rejected them. And because they rejected them, they will have to have 7 lean years. And those are the tribulation years. All right? I hope you're getting my point about the 7s. I probably laboured it too much. Remember that in 1967, that was the time of the end. Jesus said, when you see these things, look up, because your redemption is drawing nigh. And then Gabriel said in chapter 8 that 1967 was at the time of the end. Now, I'm going to give you a possible time scale. I may be wrong. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not sure this is right. I may be wrong. But this is what I believe, all right? I could be wrong, in which